man, the baddest in the land. Someone who always can. Don't you know? Another Monday night in the treehouse. What's going on, everybody? It's What's Up, Flobo After Hours. Of course, this guy is Flopito. Before I even get to the festivities of this week's episode, gotta thank you for everyone watching live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Twitch. If you're doing that right now, hit a like, subscribe, follow, wherever, especially not Twitter. I need to get my numbers up on that. This is a late night talk show. We're hanging out, having time of our lives, but before I get to my very special guest, I gotta give a shout out to the Boisterous crew. That's right, the Boisterous crew. The members of my Patreon squadron, they help out, they support the homie. So I have to give a shout out to a Christopher C, a Christy H, ACH, Edric P, Oliver E, Princess Leia, Matthew C, Lindsay U, John W, Richard R. You make this show a reality. And if you're watching in the chat right now live, thanks so much for rocking with me. If you got questions for our guest tonight, make sure you put us in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to ask them to her. But my guest tonight is someone special because, as always, I am not alone. This individual is a comedian, a host. She does so many things I can't even count, but she's definitely right now the host of the Faith, Fun, and Fuckery podcast. Give it up for Nikki Bailey.
Hey, Flobo.
What's up, Nikki Bailey? How you doing?
I'm happy to see you. I'm doing good.
Oh man, I'm doing good as well. But you know, I see you looking all fly. You know, I see the color palette. I see everything going on.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's been a couple weeks. How you been? What you been up to?
I've been good. Just dealing with old age and my body. I threw my back out a few weeks ago, but I'm on the mend, so everything's okay.
It's weird, man, because you think that when we throw out our backs, when I was younger and my dad threw his back out, I thought he was like out there fighting crime or breakdancing or doing something fun. It's just we were just doing normal stuff, you know.
No, I was just standing up from a chair and my back was like.
You're like, I ain't going outside no more.
Yeah, that's it. So that's my life now.
Shout out to JLJ Media, Sherman, Kirsten, Mark. What up, Mark? How's it going? You guys are amazing. And if you are watching on that Twitch, say what's up to the Twitch crew as well. Now, Nikki Bailey, I was just telling you before you went live that I am a man with one wheel. I hyperextended my knee about a couple weeks ago. And I had a lot to think about life. I go, is this a decline? What am I going to do with my life? What was going through your mind when you threw your back out? Were you kind of like, here we go again? Is it like, why me? Like what?
It was, don't tell anybody the story of how you threw your back out because it's sad. I'm late in love. Thank you, JLJ. Thank you. Oh, that's so nice.
After Buzz as well in the house. What?
All right, After Buzz.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the festivities because you are doing the big thing. You're doing big things all over the podcast. Faith, Fun, and Fuckery.
Faith, and Fuckery.
So, okay, I got it wrong. My bad.
Okay.
Okay. No, I ruined it. No, the show's over. Bye, everybody.
It's over. Bye. Good night.
I just ruined the show. But let's talk about this. Fun, Faith, and Fuckery. Why did you decide to make this a reality? Because there's so many podcasts out there. I mean, you could have been oversaturated, but you decided to take it one step and make it happen. So What was the story behind that?
You know, I have a Master of Divinity degree. I went to seminary to become clergy. And I'm trained as a clergy person, but now I do this. I do comedy and performing and acting and writing. And I was like, I need to keep using my seminary superpowers for good somehow. What can I do with it? What can I do with those superpowers? And I was like, I'm going to do a podcast, but we're going to talk about faith, but we're going to talk about it in a really irreverent way. We're going to talk about it in a way that people who aren't interested necessarily in church would still respond to. We're going to talk about it in a way that speaks to people no matter what your faith journey is. And we're going to talk about it with cuss words. Words.
Hold that thought. Real spot to Mark. Shout out. When I was training my rotator cuff, I was bummed at first, but I was happy I recovered. My dad tore his rotator cuff in 3 places, but he's like, I don't want to have surgery. So I know how much that hurts, man. Respect.
Ouch.
I actually had the opportunity about your podcast to check it out. It airs live Thursdays and you've got to sit down with some really cool people talking about those three things. And what was been like the most unique experience you came across? This is, sitting down with people and asking them about their histories and backstories.
Yeah, I've had some really interesting guests. I had a guest who wrote a book called A Survival's Guide to Heresy, and A Survivor's Guide to Heresy, and he talked about being a heretic for no longer believing in God the way he was raised to believe in God, and for finding a whole new journey to the divine. And I thought that was so great. I had another guest who talked to named Dr. Monica Coleman. She talked about she's a minister and a doctor of theology, and she talked about how her faith and her bipolar disorder interact, and the I don't even know what the right word is to say for that, but she wrote a book called Bipolar Faith, and talked about how her faith was impacted by her bipolar depression, and how her bipolar depression was impacted by her faith. So super interesting stuff. Like I'm getting to hear. I spoke to one of my guests is a witch, and I spoke to her about what does that mean, and so that it's been really cool. I've been having a good time with it.
Yeah, I mean, an actual witch, like a practicing witch, or like a theoretical witch?
I suppose it depends on what you mean by actual.
I guess. Oh wow, that's the question. What is an actual witch? No, I mean someone who is like a practicing like witch, or you're saying someone who's like a really bad person, like
she's a practicing witch. She practices.
Got it.
Like she doesn't practice Wicca in necessarily. She practices hoodoo and conjure.
Oh, okay.
But it's kind of the same, like all those people who burn sage and carry crystals.
Yeah.
So those folks. What's up, Haywood Wong?
Haywood Wong in the house. Yeah, it was an interesting thing to see that, because a lot of times with faith and stuff or things you believe in, people have made their own things, and until very recently, this is the way I was raised. You kept that close to your chest, right? You don't ask someone what it is. But now I think with platforms being built all the time, there's a lot more people open to describe their mix, like what is their spiritual mix and all that. And so,
absolutely,
what's been like the most fun / challenging thing? The challenging thing, I guess, in launching the show.
The challenging thing has been keeping the conversations to less than an hour. Like I want to have long ass conversations with my guests that go for like 2 or 3 hours. And so it's been hard to sort of like be like, all right, well, we have to start wrapping it up. So that's been the biggest challenge, actually.
I don't know if you guys can hear this on the audio version, but I'm getting called out for cursing on the show. I'm sorry. That's the name of the show. What do you want me to say? It literally says that in the title.
I'm sorry. Are we not a cussing show?
No, we're totally a cuss.
After hours?
It's late night. You can cuss. You can drink.
It's late night.
We can drink whatever you want.
All right. Yeah, good. Because, F-bombs are a part of my daily conversation. And fuckery is a great word. I think the word fuckery should be used more often.
Yeah, I can see people at weddings and funerals and DMV stations. Like, you know what?
There's some fuckery right here. I'm over this fuckery.
So one of the questions I have about people launching their own shows, and anything people do creatively, is, and we talked about this before when we were launching your program, is the audience, right? There's that balance of if you build it, they will come, versus why ain't they here yet? What's been your experience? I mean, you've been in the show, what, 3 months now? 4 months?
I did 10 episodes so far. I've done 10 episods. I'm on a little break because I just got a writing gig that will last for a couple of months. So, but what was the question?
Well, hold that thought. I'm gonna get back to that question, but I have a statement first from Jake Giles, who says, "Geez, I need to be on her show as an autistic atheist." Lamau.
Oh my gosh, yes, you need to be on my show. Email me, dog. We are making that happen. I would love to talk to an autistic atheist.
So when we make our own platforms, there's this whole thing about building an audience, right? Somehow it's kind of like if you build it with good content, they'll come. Versus being like, "Yo, are they here yet?" What's been your mix? What's been your experience?
My mix has been, I'm going to build it and trust that eventually over time, I will build an audience. Right now, I have an audience of 4 very dedicated listeners.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm very happy with those 4 dedicated listeners. I know that I'm going to be able to look at my dashboard and see that I had at least those 4. But now, now that I think for me in the beginning, I was really just so nervous about doing it. I was so scared that like it was going to suck or that I wouldn't do it right or that I don't even know now that I've started it, I don't know what I was actually afraid of, but but I was like so nervous about starting it. And then once I got it going, I've noticed that I've just really been enjoying it. And so I didn't really focus much on building the audience. I just focused on starting. And now that I've started, now it's time to get into building the audience and and getting myself to the place. That was it really, is getting to the place where I could just do it. And so once I started it, I wasn't concerned about the audience at first. And now that I've started it, I'm like, now I can start building a following so I can be like my friend Flobo and have people joining him for his shows at 10 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern.
It blows my mind not to make this as a show about me. I mean, I am on the marquee, but this show came out of an accident because the whole AfterBuzz thing, we did the Raw after show, and that was at 9 p.m. Pacific. And so there was a time where we do the Raw after show, where we were so excited, we would just be up all night, just like. So I decided to do the show at 10 p.m. But there's weeks where I'm like, oh, bro, what was I thinking? Can After Hours be at 7 p.m.? Like,
I legitimately, earlier today, I was like, I don't know, Flobo. We gonna see what we gonna see what you get tonight, brother. Because
you're not the only one, and I'm on the show, and it's funny. 8:05 rolls around. I'm like, can I just cancel it? But I don't, because I know for the longest time I had those stream people that would come every Monday night and it's like, oh, Flobo, you're late, start the show. And I was like, as much as but the fans here, I kind of make fun of, like JLJ Media, we go back and forth, we bicker, or I'll say, shut up, Haywood. Like, these people really inspire me to keep doing what I'm doing because they are looking for it. If you
that's awesome.
So, have you been keeping up with the sci-fi, the Star Trek, anything like that?
I just started watching Star Trek Lower Decks. As you know, I was reluctant to start it. Did they, Charlene, you made Flobo have an after hours show?
She kind of did.
Well, good. I'm glad she did.
She was like, Flobo, I want to show you interview AfterBuzz host. And I was like, who would listen to that? And like a year later, I had like 2 shows. I do exactly.
That's what you do. Interview AfterBuzz host.
Yeah.
I love it.
Whatever, Haywood. No, I'm just kidding. Those are Lower Decks.
I've been watching Lower Decks. I did restart Voyager. I know you haven't started Voyager yet. Have you started Voyager?
So yes and no. I had this plan of watching all the series in a row. And by that estimation, I finished TNG and one half of DS9. But I am on a show called Starbase 80 where we take an episode at random and we go deep into that with John Weber. So I have dabbled in Voyager. I've known enough to can't stand Neelix. I hate him. I've dabbled in
Neelix. Really?
I will hate on Neelix. It's just like it's like
he's so kind and good natured.
I'm just saying. It was definitely written to be like, here's our wacky character. You know what I mean?
Ooh, I know. It was said.
No, I haven't tried. No, I don't know what you're talking about. People in the audio version can't see that, but so
that's right.
What was one of the coolest things that we got to work on was on Star Trek Discovery. Because you, like all the other hosts in that show, Frank Moran and Christian Blatt, were like Star Trek experts, and I was kind of the new guy there. And you guys kind of helped me along to understand the nuance of Star Trek. I mean, have you thought about doing?
Guess what I just realized?
What?
I just realized who JLJ is. That's James Lott.
James Lott Jr. Yeah.
Okay. See, hey, James. I ain't even realized it was you. But go ahead. Sorry.
Well, that's how kind-natured Nikki Bailey is. She just totally giving props to a stranger, not knowing that was her friend.
I didn't realize it was. Go ahead, but good to see you, James.
You're gonna break his heart. You gotta break his heart because every time he does a show, he's like JLJ Media. I'm the JLJ and JLJ Media, James Lott Jr. And you're like, who?
It's 10 o'clock on a Monday. Come on, man, give me a break.
I gotcha. So we're
He's like, yes, you know me.
right.
He's like, yes, you know me.
So my next question is a question actually from Charlene. She says, do you like the Orville? Are you a fan of the Orville?
I only watched the first episode and it didn't capture me, so I didn't keep watching it. Was it worth it?
Probably. I think a lot of Discovery dislikers are like the Orville is way to be. And Haywood Wan says, if it wasn't for Christian DMZ, I wouldn't have seen you, Nikki. Well, that's cool. Yeah, awesome.
It's true. Christian's the one who kept me on a show, basically.
Yeah. Christian DMZ, Christian Blatt was on an episode in the past. Really cool guy. Mets fan, so you know he's great.
No.
Did you ever think about doing a sci-fi show or sci-fi podcast at all? A Star Trek show or?
No, you know what I really love? I love talking to you guys about Star Trek. It wasn't that I wanted to do a Star Trek show. It's that I wanted to do a Star Trek show with you guys. Like doing it with you all is what made it fun for me. So it wasn't like I was like, dying to do a Star Trek show on my own. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because then you would find all the holes in my knowledge if I did a Star Trek show on my own. If I do the show with you guys, if I do the show with Christian and Frank, then I can just nod at the appropriate times to make it look like I know exactly what they're talking about all the time.
I went into a buzzsaw because I love Discovery, and I was like, I'll be on the show, and they put me with Chris and Frank, and I was like, I had no idea what I was doing. No idea at all.
They are very serious fans. They know like the show's episodes by heart, and they get all the crazy references that I don't always get. So they're very serious fans. They make me envious of their fandom.
Mark in the chat asks, what's your favorite current comedy show you must watch on a daily basis? Very specific.
Ooh, on a daily basis. Okay. So I do this thing where I rewatch the same show over and over and over again.
Okay.
Right now, the show that I am rewatching is New Girl.
Ooh.
It's actually crazy how much racism is in that show, how much anti-Asian racism is in that show. And every episode that they do it, I'm like, oh my God, why am I watching this? But I watch that show every single night. In terms of newer shows, I'm really into Letterkenny. Have you watched Letterkenny?
No.
Oh my gosh, Letterkenny is so fucking funny. It's so good. It's a Canadian show about this very small town called Letterkenny, and there are hicks, skids, and hockey players and jocks, and these three groups that don't like each other and all the shenanigans they get into. It's super white, but it's so good.
But it's so good. I love it. Yeah, it's super white. But it's actually,
but it's really good.
What's it air on? What's it stream on? What's it?
It streams on Hulu.
Okay, I think I have that one. There's so many streaming apps these days. It's crazy.
There's too many. I also just started. You know what I have to say? The way that I do it is I share my streaming apps with other friends, and then they share theirs with me.
Who
that
doesn't?
way we have all of them, right?
Right.
But I started Ted Lasso yesterday. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was a feel good thing of the something like like most of us, you get an Apple product, they'll give you the free year of Apple TV. You're like, I ain't gonna buy this, but if it's free, I'll check it out.
Exactly.
I like Ted Lasso. I'm kind of excited for it to come back next week. Einstein a Rap says the Upshaw holds up. That's a good one too. If you haven't checked that one out,
I've not seen that one.
Okay, yeah, that's a good. What's your favorite?
Oh, Hacks. Oh yes, James. Hacks is hilarious. Hacks was really good.
Yeah,
it's about a stand-up comedian, a woman who's a legendary stand-up comedian, and this young stand-up comedian writer who comes to work with her. It's really well done.
What's that on? I've never heard of this one.
That's on HBO. HBO Max, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah,
that sounds
it's
fancy.
so good.
I also have to watch Space Jam. I'm behind.
No, I'm not going to watch Space Jam. I don't think I can do that to myself.
What? The first one wasn't a classic. Come on. The first one was not a classic.
The first one, I don't think I was the right age when the first one, like I think that you had to have been a kid when that came out to really want to really, because for me, I'm like, what the hell is Space Jam? I'm not watching that. That looks crazy.
I don't know about you, man, but 96, I was preteen. I was a preteen then, and
I was not.
I did not. Hey, you not. I didn't. I was a preteen then, and my next door neighbor's sister took us to see Space Jam, and after that, I thought we were done, and she goes, "Okay, let's go to this other movie," and I saw the first ever Space Jam Set It Off double feature. I had nightmares for days, man. The Monstars and Queen Latifah, like, it was just weird.
Wait,
man.
So you saw Space Jams, and then right after it, you watched Set It
Off the same night, the same theater. I was not prepared.
No, that's a major tone shift right there. A major shift in tone.
Jeez. Yeah, here it is. Crazy. I had 2 kids already. Yeah, it's a different time. 1996. It was.
Yeah,
I was 27, 96. Okay.
I was around the same age. So yeah, there it is.
Oh, real quick. What up, Charlene? Thank you so much for the kind words. That means a lot to me. She says, thank you for doing these shows to keep us updated after bus hosts, because they're people too. And even though it's the longest hiatus ever, these people I saw out here making content and doing great things. So I appreciate it.
It ain't no hiatus. They not coming back.
Hey, you can't be telling people they're not coming back. It's a hiatus. It's a summertime hiatus.
Sorry, it's a hiatus. And we'll be coming back with more AfterBuzz, the ESPN of TV after shows. We're coming back.
You can't butcher the slogan. What are you doing?
I forgot it. What is it? I don't even remember now.
The ESPN of TV talk.
TV talk. See, there we go. I never said it right anyway.
I wonder if ESPN ever cared. You're like, wait a minute. Why are you putting our name in your mouth?
ESPN's like, we got talk shows. What the fuck, man?
yeah. What are you talking about? Are we the AfterBuzz of sports talk? All right. So it's just, but speaking of with the hiatus and the 2020 pandemic, life seems to be, don't want to say the O word, but kind of winding down, wrapping up. I mean, anything you've learned about yourself over the past 12 months that you just were blown away by?
Wow. I have learned that I have an infinite capacity for being able to freak myself out by thinking negative thoughts. I had a full-on mental breakdown because I was certain that we were going to be at war after the election. I was like, we're going to war. The country's going to be torn apart. We need an escape route. I was planning an escape route, the whole nine. No, he didn't. AfterBuzz forever.
So who's
AfterBuzz forever? Yes.
Yeah. So why? Okay, the negative thoughts thing. And have you worked through that, or is kind of like, this world is done?
I have worked through it. I found a therapist and got my meds adjusted so that I wasn't quite as I was feeling. Yeah. And so I've learned that my imagination is extraordinary and that I can create stories about just about anything. And I've also learned that I have a lot more patience than I thought I did, because I share a house with my partner and another couple. Mm-hmm. And it's this big, beautiful house that we share. And I love everybody I live with. But when you spend a year and a half in the house with people, that's some stuff right there. That's some very serious stuff. And so I made it through without killing anyone. And I feel like that should be, celebrated.
Celebrated? What?
I feel like that deserves a celebration. Nobody died. I didn't kill anybody in my house.
I don't know where to send you a cake or a gift card to Applebee's. Like, what do you mean?
I accept all major credit cards, whatever you'd like. So
David says, "Where's going to eat your Twinkies, wherever your Twinkies may be." I actually agree with this.
Word,
just stay positive. It's crazy because I won't say we're laughing at it now. We're trying to laugh at it now, but it did seem like every week it was something new. It was like, really, like what was happening over the past time. And when you're someone that tries to find humor in anything because you are a comedian as well. Were you going like, oh, this is a gold mine, or you're like, there's no way I can do this. There's no way I could talk about it.
No, I was not thinking about the comedy of it at all. At least not after the first month. I think after the first month, I was like, this is great. I'll just go on TikTok. I'll make TikToks and make people laugh for the few weeks that it takes us to get through this. And then after the first month, I was like, oh my God, this is some nonsense. I'm never gonna make it. It was rough, but I came out of it in a stronger relationship. I came out of it as a stronger person, and I haven't killed anyone. So yeah.
And lastly, are you still an inside person? Are you going out doing things about the beach? Like, what's been your balance? Are you just like, no mask, y'all?
I have never been an outside person. I've always been an indoor cat. So to me, it was really kind of a beautiful thing to not have to be expected to go anywhere for a year. I was like, I could live like this. This is not bad at all. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go anywhere anyway. So that part was fine. I am now starting to slowly get back out there. I'm really looking forward to getting back out there and doing more comedy, more live comedy. I really miss that. I haven't done live comedy. I think I did a show about a month ago. I have one on Saturday night.
Congrats.
So I'm looking forward to getting back out there for comedy. And I miss seeing, there are some people that I haven't seen that I really miss that I'd like to see. But honestly, this whole staying in the house thing, we could keep doing this. I'm good.
It's true. Like I was fine with it. It was like in last March. I was fine until this February, where I was like, man, I should probably do something. Like, but yeah, for a good like 11 months, I'm like, it was great. And as somebody who's self-employed, I was telling my buddy the other day, I was like, as someone who's self-employed, the world finally understood the world we were living in, where you have to hunt every day. You weren't gonna know you're gonna next week your check's gonna come from. So like, I was kind of like not happy, but I was like, wow, I hope people understand the struggle.
Exactly.
But a question from Charlene: which comedian do you like, or comedian?
Ooh.
Comedians.
There's so many. I love Fortune Feimster and Gina Yashir and Naomi, whose last name I can't say. She's got this beautiful Nigerian last name, Naomi Ekejiri or something like that. Yeah, I pay more attention to the women comedians, I think, than I do to the men. I love Maria Bamford. I love Tig Notaro. Yeah. Wanda Sykes, obviously, is Leslie Jones, Tiffany Haddish. I pay really close attention to the women comics and what they're doing, because it's a different industry for women in comedy than it is for men, and I love it. I love comedy, and I miss it.
What does that mean to you when you say it's different for women and men?
Yeah, you can look at male comedians and you see that like people become like Kevin Hart's like a rock star comedian. Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, these guys become like rock star famous. But it doesn't seem to happen that way for women comedians. They don't seem to get to the same levels as regularly and as often as men do. And you have a few outliers like Ellen and Rosie O'Donnell, people who've, taken their shows to much larger platforms, but it's been really hard. It's a lot harder for women to get to those superstar places in comedy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's true. You said rock star. That my first thought in my mind went to Whitney Cummings, but then when you compare it to say like a Dave Chappelle, like she's not known as much.
Exactly,
even though she's huge,
right?
She's like has her own like shows, but like the same deal.
But she's not pulling in. She's not raking in millions of dollars to do a show.
Right. Yeah. Well, the chat's blowing up for your thoughts on these.
I love all of those comedians. Sarah Silverman pushes the boundaries and I love that she pushes the boundaries. I don't always agree with how she does it, but I love it. Marsha Warfield, I love Marsha Warfield. Elaine Boozler, oh yeah, we're taking it back to some of my old favorites. There, some of my
jams.
Yeah, my old school jams. Sherry Shepherd, Kim Whitley. Oh, Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg's one woman show. When I was growing up, I watched it on repeat over and over and over. That show was like, all I kept thinking was, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that. And that show is just, it holds up. It's so good.
Is that your favorite comedy special? I'm not saying the best, the one that resonates you the most.
No. Oh gosh. My all-time favorite, and I'm gonna get canceled for saying this. My all-time favorite comedy special is Bill Cosby himself.
Oh, why would I cancel you for that? It was a different time.
Well,
different time.
There are people. It was a different time, and I still have that as my favorite comedy special of all time, because it reminds me of my dad, and it just makes me happy. Ooh, James, you met Whoopi Goldberg?
Yeah, JLJ Media says, for those in the audio version, he cried when he met Whoopi. Crazy.
I would cry when I meet Whoopi too. There are very few people that I would oh yeah, Bill Cosby's Fatherhood. Hilarious. Oh, that was another really good one. I wasn't allowed to watch Richard Pryor when I was growing up, so I didn't get to watch him until I was much older. But when I was growing up, it was a lot of Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. Who else was there? Oh, you know who Steve Martin? Yeah, so those guys were like huge.
Wild and crazy guy. So Charlene had a good question. She says, could you watch a Bill Cosby special now? I think that's a question we should be asking.
I don't think I could. I think that, and it's not, yeah, I don't think I could. And it's because he put us through some shit, man. And those of us who grew up with Bill Cosby as like the ultimate father figure, like, come on, Bill, how you gonna do that? How you gonna mess up the legacy?
I had personally from an entertainment standpoint, my relationship with Bill Cosby was a little different. I understood what he did was important. I was telling to JLJ the other day, when the Cosby Show was on the air, we watched it not because the show was entertaining or plausible or anything of the world we lived in. It was that it was nothing else. And unfortunately, when his son passed away, he became a total assault on my generation. You know, pull your pants up, he would say. Stop watching rap music, he said. So back then I was like, this dude does not represent me, but I understand how important he was for the culture. When things got up to light, I was like, I'm way okay with letting it. Like, I can't lie, yo, real talk, don't cancel me. Sometimes I still put an R. Kelly song in my mix. One or two. I'm not advocating people listen to him. I'm not saying he's great, but it does sneak in there. But Bill Cosby, skip. With the quickness, I'll skip. You
know, I have to say, Bill Cosby, where I grew up, we were the only black family in the neighborhood. And my dad looked like Bill Cosby, sounded like Bill Cosby, had a very Bill Cosby-esque air to him. And so that made the actual Bill Cosby even that much more lovable to me, since he already reminded me of my father. So when all of this stuff went down, I was like, it felt personal, which is ridiculous, right? It felt personal. Like, it felt like my own dad had been accused of doing horrible things. And then I have a policy of believing women. And so to me, I was like, so now I'm believing these women who say these things happened, and that America's dad did it, and that hurt my heart, and I was mad at him, and it felt personal. You know, for my generation, he really was the father. He was like the father figure that we all looked up to, and so it was a real hurt. It was a real hurt and a real disappointment.
Absolutely. I'm with you, and JLJ Media is with you too. If I give you a little course, what's up, Flobo? Nikki, hope you are well. I'm glad to be back from the Monday night cast. Nikki Bailey is making me seem like a star, so glad she was here. such a get for the network, as you will. Is there anyone on your, like, I don't say bucket list, but like comedians you want to see live, whether they stop touring or whether you stop touring? Is there anyone like you want to see in the flesh?
I would love to see any of the women that I named live. I would love to see Wanda Sykes live. She's so smart, and her comedy is so smart. Some of them I've seen live just because I'm in the comedy scene, and I've gotten to see Maria Bamford perform live. I've gotten to, see Tiffany Haddish. I've gotten to see some of these people just because I happen to be on the club when they go on stage on a particular night. But yeah, I'd be happy to see any of them. Tig Notaro, I would love to see any of them.
Well, Dudette says, I want to see Flobo back. Well, get me booked,
I want to see Flobo Boyce back on stand-up stage too.
I'm a hack. I'm washed up. No, it's not. It's not that at all. It's going to happen. For those of you who care about this sort of thing, inside baseball is that I have to like make new connections because the go-tos that let me get some stage time. They're out the game with the pandemic, and so
exactly, yeah.
I have to do some more legwork, show up at more shows, and do the hand things. I got to figure out that part of my life now, but it's coming. I'll let you guys in the loop. For me, there's a lot of classic specials, Richard Pryor, and we talked about Eddie Murphy and stuff like that. But I always say the one that resonated me for the most came later in my life. It was Trevor Noah's Crazy Normal.
Such a great
Crazy
show.
Normal. Crazy Normal. Like, it's about South Africa and South Africa politics and culture, but this guy breaks it down that this kid from Brooklyn understood. So when he got the Daily Show assignment, I was like, oh, I get it, because I know who Jacob Zuma is. You know what I mean? Like, it's just to make something so complex seem like it was common knowledge is one of the things about comedians or comedy that gets overlooked, and it's amazing. So
I agree. Trevor Noah is, aside from being incredibly deliciously fine, he's also brilliantly smart. And
I guess,
don't be that guy. You can 100%.
I mean,
he's fine.
He got a nice accent. I mean,
No, Trevor Noah is fine as hell, and funny on top of that. Like, if he was just fine and only kind of funny, I don't know, but like, he's fine. And I truly believe that the best comedians are the smartest people, and I truly believe that Trevor Noah is one of the smartest people out there. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I'm just throwing some shade, y'all. Yo, Trevor, you catch this? I'm a big fan. Can I get an autograph?
Okay.
My anecdote is I applied to be a correspondent on Daily Show, the one that went to Roy Wood Jr. That's like my connection. So please, if Roy Wood has to leave, hit me back up. I'll audition again. But yeah, but speaking of things you want to do entertainment-wise, Nikki, what does Nikki Bailey want to do? You do so much. What's left to accomplish?
What's left to accomplish? I'd like to get my pilot made and be the showrunner and the star of the show. That would be nice.
Okay.
I'd like to do a comedy special of my own. It's a sitcom. Yeah. I'm not a big Chelsea Handler fan, James. Although I have to tell you, Chelsea Handler wrote this book, Are You There, God? It's Me, Vodka.
Yeah.
Oh no, Are You There, Vodka? It's Me, Chelsea. That's one of the funniest reads I've ever read. So she's a great writer. I don't love her stand-up, but she's a great writer.
Okay. I feel the same. Well, I can't say that anymore. Never mind. No, we're in a safe space, right?
Yeah, safe space.
When he writes sketches for other people, I'm a big fan of Louis C.K., but I never liked his stand-up. I've never bought into a stand-up.
I always loved his stand-up. I thought he was, again, super, super smart, able to tackle really difficult issues in stand-up without making me want to slap him. He was able to talk about racism and sexism and classism and all these really difficult topics in ways that are irreverent but still really insightful. But then he went and fucked it up too. Damn it!
I tell you, men, right? No, I'm kidding.
I'm saying.
I understand. No, don't agree to that. I was being funny. No, I know, totally. It was a really tragic situation, but yeah, when he writes, because he wrote for SNL and he wrote for Cedric the Entertainer Presents, one of my favorite sketch shows in the modern era. I was like, oh, that dude can really bank out structure, character progression, escalation, all the things we think throughout. But his stand-up specials are always like dense for me, you know.
I love his stand-up, and yeah, he's another one.
Yeah,
screwed it up.
When you say you want to do your own comedy special, are you thinking like the big arena show, or are you thinking like the intimate affair we're seeing now? Like what's in the mind's eye?
The mind's eye is someplace like Dynasty Typewriter or Largo or something like that. You know, like that kind of vibe. Not Largo. What's it called? Lago? What's it called? Anyway, one of those venues, but not too huge, but not like a small intimate club, but you know, like a theater setting. But the thing is, for my stand-up show, for my comedy special, I want to have a gospel choir that accentuates my jokes with like shouts and hallelujahs whenever they feel it.
I love it.
So
you'll take them to church, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna take them to church. I gotta get to the point where that's the kind of budget I can have.
Yeah.
Where I can bring in a gospel choir, have them behind me, and whenever I say something that's particularly funny, I can turn to them and be like blah 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 blah, and direct them like a choir director, and whatever. Yeah.
People are gonna be like, "Yo, man, Nikki's show was hot, but she passed her offering plate like 3 times. I'm broke." Y'all pass her on the plate. I got no more money.
See, Flobo, why are you telling people my secret? That was how I was gonna do it too.
Happening in the spot. I hope it comes through. I would love to see that for real. Like when my friends actually write specials, I always try to go through because it is a hard thing to do and write and work on. I don't know if you know Jesus Trejo. He and I were on a couple of shows together, and he rented an office downtown just to put his note cards on a wall to go through his hour. It is a process.
That's real. Yeah.
Better him than me. Oh, damn. My comeback's coming soon. It's all good. But about the whole dream thing and taking on the world, I always ask my guests this, but is there a travel bucket list? And if so, what's on it?
Ooh, there is a travel bucket list. I would like to I'd like to visit all of the spiritual and religious destinations around the world that people go to on not crusades, on pilgrimages. Yeah. So I would love to see Israel. I would love to see the whole sort of biblical area of the Middle East. I would love to see whirling dervishes in person. I would love to go to Africa, to Nigeria, or the oh my god, the name of it just left my brain. But I would love to go and see the sort of the home of Yoruba religion. Yeah, I would love to just travel the world talking to spiritual and religious leaders. Yeah. I feel like that not only is that what I want to do, but I want to make a TV show about it, like a travel TV show about meeting about different religions around the world.
Yeah, that sounds like the spiritual successor to your show right now. That's awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Let's make that happen, people. Let's go.
Yeah. Pass the plate now. That's you guys.
Pass the plate.
Right now, so what's up, Flobo After Hours with Nikki Bailey? We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Drop a question for Nikki as we roll on. And Nikki, I miss hanging out you in real life. So when are we going to hang? When are we going to chat? When are we going to do the thing? When are we going to link up?
Whenever you want. I would love that. I totally miss hanging out with you too. We never get to see each other now without that place being closed. Now we never get to see each other.
You can't even say it to me.
I still have, I'm not gonna lie to you, I still have feelings about how all that went down. So
you got feelings. Can you share
feelings? I got feelings.
Can you share feelings?
I share feelings. I just feel like they disappeared on us, and I would like to know why, and I would like to know. Like it felt like what we were creating must not have meant anything to them if they could just walk away from it so easily without giving any of us the benefit of being able to say goodbye to each other, without being able to say goodbye to our audiences. You know, like I feel like you know, we were a part of creating something really fun and really, you know, and really worthwhile. Like it was, you know, like no one's dying without AfterBuzz, right? Like we weren't like, you know, we weren't breaking news or anything, but we were an outlet for joy for some people. And I feel like losing that and the way that it left was just tragic. And you know, there were so many great people doing fun work and great work there, and it's a shame that it kind of dissolved the way it did.
I always say, like, things happen, but the way they did it was weird for me. The analogy is, imagine dating a girl, or dating an individual, it doesn't have to be a girl, dating someone for 2 years, and they ghost you, disappear.
They did. They just ghost you.
And when you text them, like, is everything okay? Like, her mom or cousin goes, she all right. You're like,
right.
I'm not going to get an answer from her. Like, let me know if it's over. Yeah, it was cool when it was there, and I'll talk highly of it. But it ended such a weird space, a weird place. That was kind of odd.
I agree. They created this really great thing that I wish that if it had to end, I wish it just had ended differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Nikki, we have to get out of here. But before we do, we got to play a game. You down?
I'm down. Let's play.
This one here is a classic. It's actually one of my favorites. This one's for charity. It's called Risky Sevens. And how it works is this. I'm going to ask you 7 questions of various difficulty. If you get the question right, I will donate $5 on your behalf to a charity of your choosing, which you have earmarked to be Women of Color Unite, a social action organization focusing on fair access, fair treatment, and fair pay for women of color in all aspects of entertainment and media industries. But you get the question wrong, and they get nothing. You down?
I'm down. Let's do it. Just please don't be geography questions. I don't know geography. Okay, go.
7 questions. The topic is comedy of color.
Ooh. This is going to test my black card. Okay, go ahead.
There's other. Yes, it's going to test your black card. Yes. I was going to lie to you, but no, it's going to be a black thing. Question number 1. This well-known black comedian has been a generational inspiration. His recent special, 846, was nominated for an Emmy.
I don't know. Can I name a few names?
Sure.
Can I?
Sure.
Let's try Kevin Hart. No. How about Dave Chappelle?
Dave Chappelle's correct. $5.
Oh yay! All right. Thank you.
It's gonna be a long game, isn't it? Dave Chappelle's correct. 846. You should probably check it out. It's a good one. It's classic. A new classic. It was made in the wake of the George Floyd situation.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Okay.
Question 2. Tiffany Haddish has been a comic the vast majority of her life. Those of you who know, she's been the Child Program, but the Laugh Factory. She's been doing comedy for like 27 years. But to most mainstream audiences, she became a household name after her role in this movie.
Oh, the one with the girlfriends on the trip.
Wow.
Girls Trip.
The one with the girlfriend. Oh, yes, Girls Trip. Yes.
I loved that movie.
Oh my God. $10. $10 already begged for Women of Color Unite. Question 3. This comedian, host, and actress is one of the few people in the world that has an EGOT, an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Correct. Whoopi Goldberg. I didn't even tell. I would have also accepted Rita Moreno, but she's not a comedian.
She's not a comic, but yes, I'm very proud of Whoopi's EGOT. Yes.
Hey, EGOTs are a hard thing. 16 people only have it, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
Question 4. This variety show has been a launching pad for a plethora of entertainers, especially those of color, based in Harlem.
Showtime at the Apollo.
Showtime at the Apollo is correct. $20 banked for Women of Color Unite. Got 3 more to go there, Nikki Bailey. Number 5. Before getting into comedy, this comedian was a former contracting specialist with the NSA. Spy status.
Wow. I have no idea. Wanda Sykes.
Wanda Sykes is correct. She was a member of the NSA.
So you know what's funny? I don't know anything about people's personal lives. I just know that I love her. And so I was like, she's smart enough to have worked for the NSA. There it is. Love it.
You are killing it. You are basically 5 for 5 on this one. 2 more to go here. Number 6. Before having our own late night show on Peacock, this comedian's claim to fame was being one of the writers of Late Night with Seth Meyers.
Oh my God. April. Wait, what's her name? Oh my God. What's her name? She always wears the cute little bow tie. The cute little
She
tie
does.
thing.
I know.
What's her name?
Nice. I can't tell you that, but
oh my God. I want to say her name is April something, but I can't remember her name.
she's trying to stall for the chat. It's cold, fam.
I know. I'm like, come on, chat. Come through.
Before having her own late
James
night show
Lott, come on, tell me.
This could be his
James Lott, tell me.
Was being a writer at Late Night with Seth Meyers.
What's her name? I forgot her name.
Amber Ruffin.
Amber Ruffin. Gosh dang it.
Well, you already got you got $25 in the bank here for Women to Call You Nike. You make it 30. Question number 7. With 18 seasons to his credit, this actor of color has the longest continuous tenure of anyone ever on Saturday Night Live.
Kenan Thompson.
Kenan Thompson is correct. 6 questions right. $30 are going to Women to Call You Tonight. That was amazing. And you just went through it. You know what I mean? Yo, thanks for coming out in the show. Thanks for helping charity out. And all of us in the chat, we're having a good time of our life. But sad to say, Nikki Bailey, it's that time to get out of here.
Oh, Flobo, this was so much fun. And I so appreciated the chat and the it was fun. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming through. We do this every Monday. I want you back though, for real.
I'll be back.
But if somebody wanted to follow you, stalk you, see your new shows, put money in the collection plate, how do they go about doing that?
You can find me at NikkiBaileyComedy.com or at NikkiBailey_ on all the social medias.
All the social medias? All the social medias.
All of them. Even Snapchat, which I don't actually know how to use, but I do have a profile on it.
I got a TikTok.
I don't know how to use it.
I don't know either. I know. See, I don't feel like I'm old, but I see TikTok. I'm like, I'm old. This ain't for me. This is not.
TikTok, I get. I know how to work it. I don't understand Snapchat at all. I just barely understand Instagram. Like it's a lot of pictures, but I don't know.
JLJ Media says follow her, and I have to agree. I'll be back here next week with more fun. We got Jonesy, another comic in the house, but you know, Nikki Bailey, until next time, after hours are closed. The bed is still